Let me just, in 2 minutes or less, just give you a quick overview of this whole pedestrian signal issue, especially related to accessible design. So we all know pedestrian push buttons. What we don't like is situations like this. Well, we have pedestrian push buttons. Well, where is it? Well, it's over there. How do you get to it? Well, you got to kind of hike your way through the dirt and the gravel. You know, so providing these facilities is one thing. They have to provide them in the right spot. And we know that the walk or pedestrian walk, etc. So I'm going to skip through that here really quick. And maybe it's going to skip even further here. But you know, one of the things that we also have to think about is how we communicate with folks. And if you see this one, it's going to work here. So I'm not sure exactly if you walk or you don't go when I saw this one here, but I guess that's the break dancer. Kind of do a little bit of a move across the roadway. So obviously we have to do them right. So we've seen countdown signals. Do you have those in Platteville yet? So those count down how much pedestrian time you have left. How about the animated eyes? Have you seen those? So this pedestrian crossing device, these eyes flip back and forth. So hopefully you do the same thing. So you're looking both ways to see if the vehicles come across. All right. I'm going to skip through because I'm out of time here. But let me just point out one more thing, and then we could talk about anybody wants to hang around for questions. I want to just briefly mention this whole thing about accessible pedestrian applications, because even though these were originally designed for people who are visually impaired, I think these are the mechanisms that are really good for all pedestrians because they communicate with you. When you push a button, something happens. You know, in the old days, and see if this thing, I mean, have you all heard the cuckoo chirp? Yeah, have those around, or it gives you cuckoo. That was supposed to be meaningful, right? The cuckoo was for one direction, the chirp for the other. Which one was which? Who knows? Nobody. I have no idea. All right, so that didn't work well. Oop. That works well. So we introduced these whole accessible pedestrian signal concepts, and what they do now is, they start out with a locator tone. So if you're visually impaired, you can find the push button. For everybody else, you know it's there. But they also do a nice job of communicating with you. So locator tone comes on, and then there's a message. So that's a little bit quiet, but there's a voice message that goes along with it, as well as this is an Australian version of one. So when the walk comes on, it gives you that message, and it gives you that quick pulse. So these are being used around the state now. They're approved for application, and it's something that I think is going to be very, very effective and a better communication method with pedestrians, and it provides this LED indication to move you along. All right, so I'm going to stop there. I know I've extended my time. Sorry for the late start and not being able to get through everything here. Anybody ride a Segway yet?
We have one on campus.
Yeah, I have one too. And they're lots of fun.
You have one?
Yeah, I do. Yeah, we have one in the lab. So I use it to go to meetings on campus. And a big man on a Segway stands out, but that's I kind of like the idea. All right. Anyways, so I'm sorry I had to rush and I didn't get going here right at 11. But the point I want to leave you with is there's a ton of ways to safely accommodate bicycle and pedestrians in these safe route to school applications if you're creative and if you think about the appropriate ways to address them. And we as engineers can do a very good job doing that. Okay? So I know I'm out of time. You probably want to go. Don't have a lot of questions. But if you have questions, I'll be happy to try and address them now. Sir?
If we still have time. Here in Platteville, at the intersections, there's pedestrian buttons that you're basically required to push. You don't get the green light unless you push it. You know, if the light just turns green and you happen to be walking up and get lucky, you lose. And I think that has something to do with I've been told it has something to do with the amount of time to cross. But is that just a Platteville thing, or is that common?
Well, I don't know about the Platteville thing, but I mean, there's two ways they're going to happen. One is either it's pre-time, so the walk's going to come up every time the green is, or more appropriately, they're actuated, meaning that there's just not going to be a walk unless someone pushes the button, and that button is supposed to call the walk signal, not necessarily the green. Okay, so we can be more efficient in the signal timing if there's no pedestrians there. So that's why it's used in an actuator type format. So that's how it works. I'm not sure exactly about your specific example, but
That's what it
Yeah.
is for Platteville. It's because there are certain times when the pedestrians are at a level where you really need them. The rest of the time, the pedestrians aren't there. So, as you described, in order to keep the traffic signal timing more efficient, we only have the push button actuation for the walk signals.
perfect. Yep. So they should work. Yeah.
A quick philosophical issue. I can see how people might watch this presentation and think it applies to really big urban areas. I'm wondering if you could just address the fact that it also applies to Platteville.
1,000% agree. And that was, perhaps I should have framed that a little bit better at the beginning. I've showed you concepts essentially from around the world, but I totally believe most of the stuff that we've talked about are very applicable at the local level. Well, it's Platteville or pick your city across the state or across the country. Again, it's the creativity on how to use them and then applying mechanisms in the appropriate way at the locations related to the issues you're trying to address. Okay? But absolutely, that, whether it's the blue routes or the signalization or the hawk or whatever it is that you want to talk about, they very much have local flavor and can be accommodated essentially anywhere. Okay, well, probably the only thing standing between your spring break is me. So I will say thank you very much, and enjoy your week next week. Be safe, and very much appreciate the offer to come down, and very much enjoyed talking with you guys. Thank you.